Boa tarde, boa noite, feliz quinta-feira. Hey, how are you? Hey, 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 it is Thursday. How are you, party people? You probably hear Bailey snoring. She's on my lap. So, hope you all are doing well. I am Krishan Wright. I'm the founder of Blaxit Global and the host of the Blaxit Global podcast. You're a Black person and you're looking to move abroad. I'm your girl. I have been very, very busy. The ladies, the Nomad Noir ladies, have been here almost a week. Tomorrow makes a week. And we have been traversing Portugal. We've been having a lovely time. It's so wonderful to host them. Some of them are further along in the process. One is close to signing a lease. Others are at different stages, but we've been moving out and about even today. So I had enough time to take a little respite and get ready for tonight's show. But if you missed Nomad Noir in the spring, don't fret. Nomad Noir has a fall cohort and there is space available. So if you're interested, hit me up. I'll share with you the details. I think somebody might have emailed me. Apologies for not getting back. I've literally been out every day with the ladies. So I will answer all emails. What else can I tell you? Oh, that's right. We have events coming out in the fall. So in the fall, we have the Exodus Summit meetup. Stephanie Perry and Rashida Dow, the co-founders and co-creators of Exodus Summit, will be in Lisbon, Portugal. And so we will host them on October 24th. Blaxit Global, fingers crossed, but we will, is going to host a meetup / 5-year anniversary party on October 23rd. More to come on that. I will drop a link so that you can put your name on the list, get information when tickets come available. But right now, I'm just telling you now so you can put it in the back of your head. Krishan's throwing a party because Blaxit Global is turning 5 this year. 5 years of this, okay? 5 years of helping people. Hey, RC, we have a new member. How are you? We have a new channel member. Hello, hello. And another channel member's in the house, locating Cozy. Hey, Cozy and up in Spain. Yes, awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm going to say hello to y'all in the chat, and then we'll introduce our esteemed guest. Yay! So who was first in the chat? Travel is my passion. It's mine too. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, Deborah. Thank you. Hey, Greta. Hola. How are you? Hey, Action BJ in the house. Pinky, how are you? Hey, Marcus. How are you? Hi, Christina. Hey, and we have some new faces today. Nichelle is in the house. Hey, Renee. Hey, the Howards. Aw, thanks for staying up late. Awesome. The luxury bucket list. Oh, wow. Look, that title right there. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And I loved Bangkok. It was 2 wonderful weeks, relaxing. 2 weeks in the country, not 2 weeks in Bangkok, but relaxing, all the things. You will love it. Cheryl's in the house. 50 Shades of Glow. Oh, yay. Look, you have to be in Portugal, Nichelle. That's a sign. That's a sign. You should be there. You should be here, right? The weather has finally cleared up. Y'all remember we have had a whole month of rain, a hot mess. Oh my gosh. The rain has finally dissipated. And so we have had some sun ever since Sunday afternoon. So we've been out in these streets. Miss Melanie. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, Bridget. Hey. All right. I said hey to everybody, I think. All right. Yeah, you needed to hide because it was almost 4 weeks of rain every day. Every day. It was so depressing. So now we're back to, what Portugal is known for 300 days of sun. The weather is going up into the 70s tomorrow. So I see some boats in my future. Mm. Oh, dang. You're freezing in. Oh, wow. It was a little chilly in Vietnam, chillier than Thailand for sure. Oh, I'm sorry you're freezing over there, but I'm glad you tuned in. Hey, hey, hey. Yes, that's right. Hey, Miss Melanie, and hey, Bridget. Yes, October babies are in the house. My kids are September babies. All right. So we're going to get started. So, look, this channel is all about moving abroad. I love elevating and amplifying the voices and stories of Black expats moving all around this world. And so I am so thrilled to have our next guest tonight. So we are going to welcome and bring to the stage Jeff, who is joining from Nairobi, Kenya. Hey, hey, hey.
Hi, everyone. Hey, Christian.
Hey, how
How's
are
it going?
you?
I'm
It's
good. I am good
Yeah, it is. It's so good to see you.
as
Um,
well.
yeah, so funny story. So I guess we should tell the folks how we, well, met virtually.
Right, right.
Right? So y'all know how I love to travel the world. And some of you follow me on the socials, right? So you're like, where in the world is Krishan? Okay. So in 2019, I went on a group trip to Greece. And on that group trip, I met Jeff's sister and her husband. And we hit it off. We had a wonderful time. We went to Athens, Santorini, Mykonos, and kept in touch all these years. Fast forward, right? I'm now living in Portugal since 2023. Again, we've kept in touch on the socials. And a few months ago, Terry hit me up and was like, "Hey, we're coming to Portugal." And I was like, "Oh, cool." Now, before that, she told me like, "Oh, my brother, he's moving," and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, huh." So we were out at dinner the other night. So they were here in Portugal. First time we had seen each other in 6 years. And so we're catching up, and she's like, "Yeah, my brother, he moved to Kenya." I'm like, "What?" I was like, "You have to put me in touch." I was like, "I remember you telling me about your brother, but then I don't remember." And then she's like, "No, he moved to Kenya. We went out there and we checked it out." So we exchanged information. I reached out. Jeff was like, "Yes, let's talk." And so here we are.
Here we are.
Yes, yes. So it's so awesome to have you here. And yeah,
Thank
your sister and G just left a few days ago.
you. So they had to endure rain the whole time,
They
huh?
did. I felt so bad for them. I was like, "Oh, y'all picked the worst time to come. If you had just a week later, they would have had pure sunshine." I think they had maybe like 1 or 2 days, but the rest of it was a
Yeah.
washout.
And the rain is about to come back here. April, May time frame is the rainy season here. So
No way. Oh my gosh. Well,
yeah.
that just means you have to go to Portugal.
It's going somewhere. I got to go to
Right.
Baltimore. I'm going to Baltimore in May for Mother's Day anyway. So
Oh, awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's great how the universe brings people together. And so, with what Terry shared with me the other night when we were out, I was hoping that you would share with my audience um, about your background, and then we'll get into how you ended up in Kenya.
So I escaped Baltimore in 1984. I had to
Wow.
get out. Baltimore just growing up. Um, we were anticipating getting the blue collar jobs at the steel mill or the
Mm,
shipyard. Those jobs didn't exist. So if anybody's ever seen The Wire is real. It was either live that life or,
mm,
you know, get out. So I joined the Navy, and after joining the Navy, I was on a ship for 4 years. So we traveled pretty much all around the world. And that opened my eyes and like, okay, maybe America ain't as great as it appears to be. There are options out here. I remember the first cruise we went on. It was supposed to be
Mm,
6 months, turned out to be 8 months. We went around the world, and every place I went, I felt more respected than I did in my own
mm,
country. And it was so evident when I got back,
mhm.
even from my own people. And I was depressed for a little while. I was like, this is crazy.
Oh,
I was like, I was treated like royalty everywhere I went. And
yeah.
not because I was in the Navy, because my first port, I hung out with sailors, and you're on the ship for 2 months at a time, no
Wow.
alcohol. Fellas start drinking and they just acted a fool, acted straight, straight American in the hood. And, after that, I was like, you know what? Next port we hit, I'm disappearing. I'm taking my
Mm,
bag. I'm going to get a hotel. I'm going to blend into the native culture. I'm just going to
mm.
act like a local as much as I could. And so I just started doing that. And I met friends that I am still friends with since
Wow.
1985. Yeah, I got friends in France, Italy that I met in 1985, 86. And so, that always opened up my eyes to getting out of America at some point in time,
Mhm,
right? However, I was under that American pretense that to retire, I needed to
mhm,
pretty much have the same income that I was making while I was working
mhm.
in retirement. So staying in America, yes, that's a fact.
True. Really, more than that.
Right, 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 right. But probably about 10 years ago, I
Mhm,
started seriously considering where I was going to move to, because I just, I needed to get out of America. Wasn't really that pressed, but I knew I wasn't going to. But I was always holding out for retirement.
mhm,
So I looked at Panama first, um, Costa Rica second,
mm.
um, south of France third, and then around 2016, I took a trip to Colombia.
Oh, wow.
I fell in love with a city called Barranquilla, and close to Cartagena, but Cartagena being a touristy area. I'm like, I can be an hour away and just go down
Mhm,
there anytime I wanted. And I was pretty much set on Colombia. And then COVID hit. And then after COVID, suddenly Colombia got super popular with Americans.
mm.
The climate changed. It completely changed. Yeah, it went from hospitality, low prices, nice people, to elevated prices or taking the prices off the menu, customer service, just pretty much non-existent really in some places. And like it used to cost $30 to take a boat, go out to one of the islands, spend a day,
Mhm.
get a cabana, lunch included. That's up to
Wow.
$200 now.
What?
you know and Colombia, being from Baltimore, I was very
Mhm,
aware of that drug aspect of Colombia. Like,
mhm,
it's not that long ago that Escobar and them guys was running. So
mhm,
there's an element of that still here. They
mhm,
really weren't paying attention to Cartagena and those other areas,
mhm,
because tourists wasn't that big of a deal. But when all the American tourists started coming, the criminals was like, hey, we got some new targets. So they moved in. Up until October of 2023, I was still on my way to Colombia. And that year, 8 Americans were unalived.
What?
Yes, kidnapped, drugged, or just, robbed. 8 Americans. And one of the brothers was from Atlanta. He had tried to buy some property, and some people lived in the property. He wanted to open a restaurant. I don't know if he was dealing with lawyers or not, but
Mhm.
the day after he paid $250,000 for the property, somebody killed him on the street. Money gone,
That's
property gone.
crazy.
But he would have had to move families out of that building who had been living there
Mhm,
forever. They didn't have nowhere to go. So,
mhm,
I don't know how it all ended. And then I went in October looking to secure a place. And I went back that November just to take a friend to show that friend around.
Mhm.
Coming back from this place called Havana's, it's a nice club. If you go to Cartagena, don't go and I mean visit the old city, but if you want to go out at night, go to Havana. The club is fire. It's a live Cuban band, and it is banging. Leaving there, going back to my Airbnb, three older guys was in the corner on the street, and I'm walking. I really never had been afraid to walk around there, but it was raining, and I'm walking
Mhm.
down the street a little while. I heard what I thought were footsteps. I turned around. There's a guy coming up behind me with a knife. You know, and when
What?
I turned, yeah, yes, and when I turned around, he stopped and just went back. You know, and I'm like, I really didn't put that into perspective until the next day, and I was like, wait a minute, had I not turned around, you know, then I
Mm.
was like, you know what, I can't do Colombia. So I started looking, yeah,
You
right,
think?
and then I had heard a lot of us were moving to Portugal. I had
Mhm.
been to Portugal. I went to Portugal in 2022 to Faro. Um,
Oh, okay.
if you haven't heard, there's a British DJ that does this aerial party called Portugal Soul Weekender,
Mm.
and it's in Faro or the Algarve. And if you go, the music is a great event, right? And they do it every year.
Wow. I gotta check
It's,
it
it's
out.
of note. So I went there, you know, and when I was there, you know, the weather was great, and I heard Portugal, you can play golf all year long. So,
Mm.
you know, then I started, doing my research on Portugal, and I was going to come visit. And then one day on YouTube, something pops up. This couple from Atlanta was in Nairobi, and they were blogging on YouTube, and I started looking at the videos. I was like, I have never been to Africa. I tried to come
Mhm.
couple times, but they wasn't letting Americans come when I happened to be like
Oh,
in
okay.
Europe wanting to come over. Yeah, that happened twice. But I was watching Kenya. I'm like, Kenya looks like a vibe, right?
Mhm.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go. So I planned the trip. Came over here in February of 2024. I
Mhm.
was here for 3 weeks. I did Nairobi, I did Naivasha, I did the coast, Diani, Mombasa, Niali, Watamu, and Malindi. But about the third day here, second, maybe third day, I made up my mind. I have never been so comfortably black in my entire life.
That's
Bar none.
amazing.
Bar none.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And day three, I was apartment hunting.
What?
Day three. So,
That is wild.
just wasn't sure, do I want to do Nairobi or do I want to
Mhm.
be on the coast near the beach? Um, Nairobi, the weather is pretty perfect. It's 70 to 85 might be the highest it gets all
Mhm.
year round. At night, I think since I've been here, 54 was the lowest it's been.
Oh, wow.
Right. So it's, at night you can wear a jacket. During the day, Kenyans might think it's hot, but for me, I like this t-shirt weather, And even at night, I was like, I can rock a t-shirt. But and then the coast, my favorite city on the coast is Watamu. It's just chill. There's some Swahili people down there that you just
Mhm.
vibe with. Slow pace, they got 7 island beach, which you live like when the tide goes out, because we're on the equator, tide goes out pretty far.
Mm.
There's 7 islands that you can just walk out to. And
What?
yes. So in the Maasai, they out there, you know, when the water goes out, they out there selling stuff. You might find some clear
Wow.
water pools that, that are caught up when the tide goes out, and the pools stay there. You pick your
Mm.
own little private little pool, nice restaurants and things. But I chose Nairobi because of the weather. Down on the coast, there's flies and mosquitoes, and
Mm.
it is hot. It's hot. So, I ain't want to be sweating all the time. But I can go to the coast. I can catch a train for about $15, 5 hour
What?
train ride. Or I can catch a flight for $40, $50, depending on how far in advance you
Mm.
get the ticket. Airbnbs anywhere from 15 to 40 a night and up. I might go a little higher just to get something really, really nice. I still like a little luxury every now and
Of
then.
course. We didn't do
But
this life to be riding a struggle bus.
right. So I was here for 3 weeks. I went back to America and I sat down and did the numbers, contemplated everything.
Mm,
Even I had secured an apartment. I was just like, when am I going to pull the trigger? You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and I just waited. And I said, you know what? I started with the government on March 22nd. I'm going to end it on March 22nd. And so I resigned. Hey, big sis. I see you just joined. I resigned from work on March 22nd, officially considered myself retired. April,
Wow.
I had already sold my house. I was living in Orlando, Florida, or
Mm,
uh, Claremont, Florida. I sold my house that January. I was already like, I can't stay another year. I got to get out of here.
yeah.
I got stopped by police driving from Atlanta to Florida.
Wow.
I just
That's
kept my
crazy.
cool, but that situation, as we all face when you come to that,
Hmm.
almost went left, and I just like, what, I'm gonna shut my mouth and just let
Hmm.
this happen. But that never left me. From that moment, I'm like, I'm selling my house. I'm getting out of here,
Wow.
getting out of America. And so April 2nd, I was back here in Nairobi and I have zero regrets. Zero.
Wow.
Nairobi, Kenyan people, and I swear, I've been to many, many countries. They
Mhm.
are the nicest people I have ever met in my entire life.
Oh
They're
my
soft
God.
spoken, they're sweet. I got some
Mhm.
buddies here, from America. We'd be like, you literally you have to force an argument here because they just don't
Oh
go
my
there.
gosh.
You know, it's so peaceful, stressful. I've lost 15 pounds. I'm eating
Wow.
healthier. I had high blood pressure, gone just because the diet changed. I walk the streets every day, hit the
Yeah.
vendors up, get some, bananas, them little teeny
Mhm.
tiny bananas, and the mangoes. I've never been a fan of mangoes. I'm absolutely
Till
crazy
now.
about these mangoes. Right, right. And like Kenyans, they work hard.
Mhm.
They hustle. And yeah, there's poor people here. There's poor people everywhere.
Mhm.
But poor, I guess it's how do you define poor? Because
Mm, that
they're
part.
poor and don't know it. Some of them are poor and know it, but a
Mhm.
lot of them are poor and they have no idea. Because
Mhm.
long as they make enough money to pay their rent and get some electricity and
Mhm.
eat, they good and they will go out and party. My sister can attest to that. They will party to 6, 7, 8 a.m. And then
Wow.
they go to work and work just as hard. And people just are so willing to do things for you here.
Mhm.
And the cost of living, like 4 or 5 star restaurants. I order food, drink, dessert, and I get the bill and I feel like I've robbed them. I'm like, that's
Wow.
it? You know, I'm
That
like,
is
really? That's all it
wild.
costs, right?
Oh my God. And it's
Where
fresh, right? It's
yeah,
not
like
laden with
right,
chemicals and preservatives or
you know.
reheated from somebody else's
No, no,
shift.
no. It's all fresh. It's like even like if you buy chicken here to cook,
Mhm.
you need to cook it within a day or two or
Wow.
freeze it
Yeah.
because there's no preservatives in it. It's gonna
Mhm.
go bad. You will smell it after 2 days. So yeah, I cook a lot, but I buy it the day that I'm cooking it. I go get it. And the
Uh-huh.
butcher shops, wherever you get your groceries from, they literally run out every day and bring it in fresh. They're not restocking things. They run out, they just run out.
Yeah.
So, you got to get there early.
Mhm. Yeah.
Or you go to, the grocery stores everywhere. Or you just keep going to a grocery
Mhm.
store to find what you want. But yeah, it's I'm buying an apartment, 2 bedroom. top floor, 17th floor. It won't be finished until December this year.
Mm.
55,000 US dollars. There's no, yeah, there's no,
Run
right,
that back for the
right,
audience, just in case somebody missed
right.
that double
55,000.
nickels.
And I may not ever move into it because it is a top floor and I got
Yeah,
in early. If somebody offers the right amount of money, it's sold and I'll just go get another pre-construction place and
yeah.
do it over and over again.
Oh my
Um,
gosh!
but
Wow.
yeah, I have a one bedroom. I was in a two bedroom, but that apartment complex was kind of they had too many rules. It's Chinese
Ah,
owned, like
mhm.
can't be on the roof after 8 o'clock. Like, what am I, a child? So I moved to a place now and I'm paying 500 a month in rent. They got a 20,
500.
uh-huh.
Wow.
They got a 25-meter swimming pool indoor, heated,
Oh my
a
god.
gym, no charge for the gym, no charge for that, rooftop lounge,
Oh
in a
my.
great location. I guess Kenyans think if you live in this location of, I'll give you the names of it: Westlands, Killaleshua, Killamani, Lavington, Parkland.
Mm.
That's where all the action is. And you meet somebody from Kenya and you tell them where you live, and they're like, "Oh, you rich?" Like, yeah,
Wow.
rich is relative, but yeah, and it's just I can get out here and go for long walks. Nairobi National Park is about 4 miles from me. You literally see lions, hyenas, zebra, rhinos, and all the
Wow.
like everything. It's about $35 for me to get in. I think locals pay maybe $10, $15, something like that. And sometimes the lions get out. Yeah, like 20 minutes,
Like
20 minutes from
get out, like
get out.
Madagascar.
They got like a 5 foot electric fence around. If a lion's chasing something and it leaps, the lion's gonna leap. But yeah, they'll get out and you'll see lions snatching dogs and things like that. Yeah.
Okay, so I can't move yet with poor Bailey. Okay.
And it's like 20 minutes from here. I don't know where they get out from, but
Wow.
yeah, but yeah, it's the only city I think in the world with a national park that runs right through the center of it.
Oh my gosh. I
Yeah,
just, yeah,
right,
just to
right.
even be able to see it.
Right. And on the apartment, like you
Mhm,
have a condo association fee in America,
mhm.
and they can be ridiculous. Well, my monthly is going to be roughly $35 for a service fee, which maintains the grounds.
Okay,
Right.
so
Right.
let me
Right.
see what I'm gonna do with this $55,000 tomorrow.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
And so
Wow.
yeah, I got a buddy from the Ivory Coast. He lives in this building.
Uh-huh.
Recently, I met somebody from Zimbabwe, and I met somebody who's originally from the Congo, but she went to school in Maryland.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh my
we was
gosh,
all
wow.
right. We were all chatting, and even my friends here from America. You ask any of us individually, and they say there's a spirit here in Kenya. When you come, it
Mm.
just locks you in, and you fit even people from Zimbabwe, the Congo, Ivory Coast. They like I came here once, and I was like, I've got to move here. They
Oh
absolutely,
my
and all of
god.
us from America say the same thing. It's just this black spirit hits you and
Mhm,
holds you. Kenya is a vibe. Now
mhm,
it's not, now let me paint the rosy picture. They have their issues.
mhm. Yeah, every
The
place
young,
does. Every place.
right, right. But I like that the young people here in their 20s,
Mhm.
they don't take any shit from the government. They don't like
Nice.
something, they hit the streets, they shut stuff down, and
Mhm.
things change. You have them out there 2, 3 days, the government gonna switch it up real
Wow.
quick.
Yeah,
And I'm
unlike
like,
America, right? Either they
right,
go
right,
outside and they
right.
wanna lock you up, beat you up, shoot you.
But they got
Uh,
that there. They got that here too. But our youngsters in America don't. We protest after the police kill somebody. But other than
yeah.
that, they,
Mhm.
they they think that they've got the American dream, and really they give it to a few of us,
Mhm.
and the rest of us just shut up.
Hmm.
But I digress. I'm not going to badmouth America. I'm just glad I'm out of there.
Yeah.
I was there, like, and
Facts.
when I come back to America, my first thought is I'm gonna rent a car. I'm gonna drive the speed limit because I don't want to get stopped. If I get a ticket, I gotta fight that forever. I see police in like a pickup truck, and it'll be several of them getting
Hmm.
dropped off at different locations to patrol traffic. I don't see no
Mm.
vehicles and bulletproof vests and
Hmm.
gangs of them anywhere.
Hmm.
I did get stopped one time when I was visiting. I was driving on a two-way street, and at some point, the side I was on turned into one way. I went to make a U-turn. Guy pulls me over, gets in the back seat. he's like, "This is how this works. You have to give me 15,000 shilling." He heard I was American. I guess he thought, he was gonna work me, but
Hmm.
he didn't realize I was from Baltimore. I didn't play that. I eventually gave him the equivalent of about $15 just so I could be on my way. Because I was
Okay.
like, well, I said, what happens if I don't give you 15,000 shilling? He
Mm.
said, well, we go to the police station, then let's go to the station because I'm not giving you 15. If I got to give it to anybody, I'm going to give it at the
Mm.
station. We went on for about 20 minutes, but eventually I gave him with about 2,000 shilling, 1,500, something like that.
Mm.
And he let me go. And I was like, oh, that's how they work this system over here. So
Wow.
no big deal. Most people just keep on Fridays, the police at this traffic circus, you got a nice car, they likely gonna pull you over. Say you did something, you give them 500 shilling, which is about
Mm.
$4, and be on your way. Versus
Oh my
right,
goodness.
versus
It's like,
trying
hey,
to defeat.
take it.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna
there
do
is that.
it
Yeah,
again.
there is that. But I bought a
Wow.
motorcycle, so they don't,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
they don't bother me at all. And I get through traffic lickety split. So and I take the bike. I've ridden it to Tanzania across the border,
Oh my God.
had
How
lunch
far is
over.
that?
It's like 4.5 hour
Oh,
motorcycle ride.
wow.
Yeah, went over, had lunch at the base of Kilimanjaro, came
Mhm.
back the same day. I've ridden it to the Masai Mara. I just wanted to see some of the wildebeest migration. I didn't go in the park. I
Oh
just
my
drove,
gosh.
but you don't know, you never know where you're gonna see the great wildebeest migration crossing the Rift Valley. Yeah, and, even like outside of Nairobi City, just outside, it's still a city,
Mm.
but a suburb of Nairobi. You see baboons and zebras on the side, giraffes even on the side of the road
Oh my
in their
gosh.
natural habitat, like we see squirrels in America,
Mhm.
right? Like coyotes. You might see some coyotes, but here you see warthogs, you see baboons, you see zebra, and you see giraffes a little further out.
Oh my
But it's just
gosh.
beautiful just riding around and seeing that. I gotta stop. I was like, look at this baboon like right next
Yeah,
to
you
me.
don't have to go to the zoo, right, to
Right,
see, like, an
right,
animal in captivity
right,
and look
right.
at it.
Yeah,
There is something breathtaking about seeing it in nature on your
right.
own, and
Yeah, and
that's
it's
your
it's free.
everyday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's free. You know, Even on the
absolutely.
golf course, you'll see warthogs and zebra and antelope just crossing the greens, crossing the fairway. you know,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
I'm walking.
wow.
I'm like, hey, is that warthog gonna come after us? I might have to climb a tree.
Yeah, like, do you need to carry, like, spray or anything to scare them off,
No,
or
long as
has that just not happened?
if you're seeing them like on golf courses, as long as you don't bother them, they gonna and they'll
Oh, okay.
basically stay away from you. They'll move away as you walk up. So
Mm.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
but it's beautiful being out there, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the Kenyan people here, I've met met some pretty people that have good positions. I got a
Mm.
buddy. He's in Conyers. I met him here,
Oh,
and
okay.
he's retired. His wife is from Kenya, but she was born in America. But he came here and he found me in a Facebook group about,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
say you play golf. And I'm like, yeah, we went playing golf. And we started hanging. And he's like, man, I'm retired. I was waiting on my wife to retire. And she got 3 years. He's like, so I'm going to try to split time between here and there. I just got to run it by her. So now that Trump came in, she took an early retirement and then
What?
moving here in July. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Another one free. I love it.
Right.
I love that for us.
And so
Wow.
I got buddies back in America, in their mid 50s, and I'm trying to convince them,
Hmm.
just shut it down. Just
Yeah.
shut it down. You hate your job. You can't even go out. You're on call for this, that, and the other. I was like,
Hmm.
trust me, you can afford it. And all you gotta do is visit. And I'm telling you, it's gonna change your life. You see what I see, and
Mm.
it's gonna be just different.
Hmm.
I really like. I've got to go to Baltimore in May. Other than seeing my mom and my family, I am not looking forward to it. I
Mm.
really, really am not looking forward to it. I don't want to be out of Kenya more so than I don't want to be back in America. You know what I mean? I'm
Wow.
gonna miss Kenya that much.
Yeah, yeah, and that's when you know, like, it's funny that you said that because that's when I knew I had to shift. Because
Uh-huh.
before I left the States, I was going to different countries every couple months. Like, I just needed
Right,
time away. That's just got me through all of the craziness and the nonsense.
right,
And now that I live in Portugal and I go away, I'm like, I enjoy being away, but it's like I miss Portugal.
right,
Like, it feels
right,
good to come home and not run from it. It's like, oh, if I want to
right,
go, like in May, I'm going away, or actually
right,
next month, I'm going away too. It's just
right,
like, oh, I want to do it because I want to do it, not because, oh my gosh, I'm stressed out and I need to get the
right.
hell out of here. It's different.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And then I'm like, I haven't gotten to Eastern Africa consists of
Mm,
Tanzania, Rwanda, Uganda, Ethiopia, and Somalia.
mm,
I've gotten to Tanzania twice. Planning to go to Rwanda, um,
mm.
and Uganda for a minute. I had a coworker that's from Uganda, so I got some connections there. I may visit Ethiopia, Somalia, not so much. I
Yeah.
don't think Somalia is safe at the moment. But
Mm,
all of them live here in Kenya, so it is just a mixture of everybody, of all these
mm.
East Africans, and you can tell the difference by looking at them, and then
Wow.
all the tribes of Kenya. I'm
Mm.
even learning to spot them on site.
Oh,
I know,
wow.
yeah, I know if you're Lua, Kamba, Kikuyu, it's and of course the Maasai,
Hmm.
they still wear their native. They be at the mall with their spears
Wow.
and their machetes and their sandals and
Oh my
their
God.
jewelry on, like because
Beautiful.
you can get a Maasai market. You can find them anywhere, any day.
Mm,
Many malls here. They got the largest mall in Africa called BBS.
mm,
It's mostly a Somalian thing because Somalians have somehow become big businessmen here, big
mm.
business people here in Kenya. So they got a area called Eastleigh, and you would think you were in Mogadishu, but
Wow.
it's nice to go over there. You get good prices on jewelry, curtains, and all kind of things are like cheap over there. So
Mm,
merchants here go and buy their material from there and then spread out to Nairobi area and sell everything. So
mm.
yeah.
Wow. We have
Yeah.
a couple questions.
Okay.
Taking it in backwards because as I see it, what's the cost of traveling between African countries from the inside of the continent?
So that's a good question. It's more expensive than you would think. However, um, Ruto, the president here, and some of the other Eastern African countries, they are in talks to make these flights regional versus international because there's still international flights and there are costs associated with that. So it's kind of like to go to Tanzania, it's 250 round trip, but to go to
Mm.
Rwanda, it's 400 or 500 round trip.
Whoa.
Right. I don't know how much to go to Uganda, but it's a lot more than it should be. So these countries are in talks to
Mm.
make these flights regional instead of international, and then it'll be really cheap to go there. I heard that probably 6 months ago. I haven't seen
Mm.
anything on it since, but I'm looking forward to that. But
Yeah.
I just booked my flight yesterday to go to Baltimore on Saudi Airlines. $465 round trip.
You can't even fly. That's more than I paid to go from New Jersey to Florida to see my mom.
I have a I have a hack. I use a VPN, and for
uh,
some reason, on the VPN, I put my location in Nigeria, and for some reason, I get the cheapest flights I've
what?
ever got.
Yeah, I've paid
And
more
that
to go from New Jersey to Florida.
right.
Wow.
I use an app called Sky Scanner.
Uh-huh.
Once I go on the VPN, I put my location in Nigeria. I use the app called Sky Scanner, and then I search my flights. And I saw something pop up, and I was like, that can't be right, because everything else was in the 1,200 and up range.
Yeah.
And I was like, that let me investigate. I'm like Saudi, and I'm like Saudi Arabia. I'm like, they got money. They gonna have a really nice airline. I've never
Oh,
flown it.
yes, that
Right. I've
part
never flown it,
too.
but right. And I was like, this is real. $465
What?
to
You gonna have
DC.
real utensils. They probably gonna give you the warm towel on the flight, like the whole
Right.
bit.
And that's to DC. And I was
Wow.
like, all right, so it's a direct, I fly from here to Saudi and then I go from Saudi straight to DC. It's a
Okay.
13-hour
Okay.
flight. That won't be the longest flight I've ever taken, but
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
for $465,
Exactly. Like
I'm gonna be
literally,
on
I
that.
spent more going from New Jersey to Florida.
Right. Exactly. So yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, you have people in the comments, they are shook. Okay, you just been dropping all kinds of truth
I'm just
bombs
seeing the
and
comments.
nuggets to folks. So Nichelle, are you a coffee person? How do you like the coffee there?
So Kenya is known for coffee.
Mm.
Yeah, I could go get it back, but Dorman's is my favorite.
Normans or Gormans?
Dormans. Yeah,
Gormans.
I haven't tried them all, but I'm still on. I get on something I like. I stay on it until I get tired of it. I'm not
Mhm.
tired of it yet, but I have taken some Ethiopian coffee, and but I'm going to like do some motorcycle rides to some coffee farms and do some tasting. But yeah,
Wow.
coffee is really really good here.
Oh my gosh, I love coffee,
Yeah.
and my favorite since I've been here, I went, like 10 months without drinking coffee and then started gradually drinking more, and my favorite since I've been in Portugal has been Angolan coffee. So now I gotta go to Kenya.
Oh, my
Adrian
sister.
said, "I experienced the wildebeest migration." Wow.
Ah, what's up,
Wow.
Adrian?
Hey, hello.
When you coming over here? That's the question.
I think
Oh,
you're gonna have a lot of people coming over.
so my sister wanted me to talk about the nightlife here.
Yes, I see her, and you got your niece. I see Adrian.
Right.
You got a whole
So
posse here.
my first month and a half here, and all my buddies here, they'll tell the same story. Like your liver is gonna go through some things when you first get here, and
No way.
you gotta figure that out because Kenyans can and do drink.
Okay,
Like,
tell me more.
so they've got they've got there's 1,000 clubs here.
Wow.
Whatever flavor you like, you can find.
Mhm.
But there's gonna be tables and there's gonna be bottles, and you will be drinking. And some of these clubs don't close till 8 a.m. And this is Monday through Monday, every night
Mhm.
of the week. I like where I live now, I can walk up the street right now. It's a Thursday, and it's just starting to get crowded in this place called Bar Next Door.
Wow.
I can walk a little further. There's a place called the Kettle House. It's just getting crowded.
Oh my gosh.
There's a spot I took my sister to called Cuban Co. It's a lounge, more mild mannered. I like to go
Okay.
there. I'm not really the club type person. I'd rather
Mhm.
do a lounge. It's more chill. But if you meet people at the lounge, they're gonna be like, "Let's go to the club."
Wow.
So when my sister was here, she was like, "We going to hang out because she has some friends here," and
Uh-huh.
I was like, "Yeah, tell me about it tomorrow." Right? And my
Wow.
sister is not a big drinker, but about 3 o'clock in the morning, she starts drunk calling me, "Come on out."
Oh no. Terry, you got your business in the streets.
And I was like, "I told you, I already knew what you were in for."
Oh my gosh, that is
Yeah, yeah.
hilarious.
No cover charge. Drinks are, I drink either scotch
Uh-huh.
or I'll do an old fashioned. Drinks are anywhere from $6 to $8. Yeah. So I'm getting
Wow.
scotch
Wow.
blended with 12 for like $7, $8.
That is
Right.
amazing.
A bottle of Hennessy,
Mhm.
people love Hennessy at a club. It's probably 70 to $80 depending on what club you go to.
Mm, mm,
Not the 400 or 500 that they charge you in America.
mm.
Somebody tried to debate, well, America has the old way. I say, when you go to the liquor store here, in the liquor store in America, a
Mhm.
bottle of Hennessy is the same price.
Yeah.
But when you go to a bar in America, your drink's $24. Here, you drink $6. So, what
Wow.
overhead are they talking about?
Yeah.
Right, right. But
Oh
the
my.
music, there's some live music. There's a place called
Mhm.
Nairobi Street Kitchen. On Thursdays, they do salsa, kamba, and at 10 o'clock, Afro beats. So
Oh wow.
the big whole crowd get up, and there's like two, three guys that lead it.
Yeah.
And, and you're trying to keep up and follow them.
Oh my
But
gosh,
it's
no way.
a straight vibe. I love that spot. Yeah. Uh, mostly restaurants and pretty much all the bars and clubs here incorporate the
Mhm.
indoor and the outdoor space.
Oh, cool.
Even the malls. The malls are pretty open. They have large canopies over them in case it rains, but it's aired out in rooftop
Mhm.
lounges. They got one spot that overlooks Nairobi National Park. It's a big
Mm,
rooftop restaurant, and it's just so wonderful. There's so many things are black owned here,
mm,
mostly
mm.
everything. I went on when I first moved here, my birthday's April 27th, coming up again. I
Oh,
met,
nice. Happy early birthday.
right, somebody invited me to play golf one day.
Uh-huh.
And then a girl named Angie, she's a pilot. She was sponsoring a golf trip up to Lake Navasha. It was $200 to take a private plane from Nairobi to Lake Navasha, get out, play around the golf, have lunch, buffet dinner, and then fly back to Nairobi on this private plane. The pilots were black, the flight attendants
What?
were black, the gate agents were black, the security was black.
Soul Plane. What?
But it was $200. I was like, this minimum would be $2,000 anywhere in America and probably anywhere else. I'm like, for $200, I played a private golf course, flew on a private plane, had a
Wow.
buffet. Like, oh, and this just killed me. Somebody told them it was my birthday. After the buffet dinner, all the Kenyans came out singing "Happy Birthday" with a cake said "Happy Birthday, Jeff." I was
Oh
floored.
my gosh, that's so
I was floored. I'm
thoughtful.
like, I am done. I never want to leave Kenya. I like throw my
Wow.
ashes when I'm gone. Spread my ashes over Nairobi.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It is. It is. Yeah. I see white people because the United Nations move headquarters here, UNICEF, and a couple of others. You see
Mhm.
them, especially in this area called Westlands, and
Oh,
on the
okay.
coast. Yeah, the coast of Kenya was at one time taken over by Italians. So you see them, but rarely,
Mhm.
and that's fine with me. That's how I see the
Less you see it, happy you be.
yeah, right, right.
Wow.
And these Kenyan women are 90% all natural. Natural hair.
Wow.
They rarely wear makeup, and they just it's like you're looking at the original female, the original
Mhm.
human. And and then you gotta go to a Maasai village because
Mhm.
when they tell you their story, you lived your life in spite of all this modern times colonialism,
Mhm.
you still live as you did 1,000 years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's
I-
something to marvel and respect on so many levels.
and it's
Wow.
like, yeah, you can spend a night there. I was like, no plumbing, no running water. Let me think about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I might go and spend a night in a
Oh
hut,
my gosh.
sleep with the goats inside the
Yeah,
circle,
that's a life
circle of
that's a core
thorns.
memory. Yeah, that
Right.
becomes a
Yeah.
core memory.
Right. But it is beautiful. And I was telling the guy, I was like, man, I think I would have given up that life I lived in America to live
Mhm.
here with you guys if I was born that way.
Mhm.
You live as we were intended to live on this
Mhm.
planet. You know,
Mhm.
you live off the nature, off of Earth. They pluck the cow's vein, drink the blood. They offer me some blood. I'm like, yeah, not yet. I ain't
Another
quite ready for that.
maybe a year there.
you know, Gave me a stick with a little thing to try and start a fire. I didn't get the fire started, but it was smoking a little bit. And I walked around their village barefoot, stepping in cow dung. I did the jumping with them, and it was,
Yeah.
and I just happened to be there by myself that day, so I got the whole tour.
Wow.
They took
Oh
me
my
over to the
god.
ladies and they started singing. And I'm like, it's like hard to hold back the tears. They were like,
Yeah. How could
it's
you
like,
not? It's
right. They're like, you
so
want to,
yeah. We've
yeah,
been
they were
so
like, you want
disconnected from our roots and our through lines.
right. And then in here, it's like you put your feet on the ground and it just digs in. And how was that movie, Avatar? You just connect with the
Mm.
roots and everything.
Mm.
If you haven't been to Kenya, I've never had any interest in going to Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, and I still don't.
Mhm.
But Kenya, um, I had all it was when I was in the Navy, we were supposed to come here.
Mm.
And I think Gaddafi or something, we got detoured. And I had met somebody from Kenya, and just the soft spokenness and the way they talk, I was like, I need to go to Kenya. But I had completely forgotten about it. But here they have had slavery in some form or another, but not that brutal American slavery. American, I don't know if y'all know this or not. American slavery is the most brutal slavery in world history. It was the only slavery you were born into and had no way out of it, you know?
Mhm.
And, not to mention all the shit they did to us. Most of the people
Mhm.
here I talk about in Kenya, they really have no idea what slavery is like. You
Mm.
know, they have no history, knowledge of it, although it existed here. None of their people were really enslaved, so to speak. I
Mm-hmm.
guess on the coast, maybe. And I'm not an expert on that, so don't, if I'm saying that wrong. But nobody I met talks about slavery or really knows anything about slavery.
Mm-hmm.
And when they say they want to go to America, you want me to deep dive into that?
It's like, you sure about
Right, right.
that?
No, I don't want to discourage you, but if you
Yeah.
want me to deep
I don't want
dive
to
into
burst your
it,
bubble, but pop goes the
you
weasel because the weasel goes pop.
right, right. But I swear, if you've been to Africa and you haven't been to Kenya, my
Mm,
sister, she went to Ghana last June and she came here
mm,
in September. According to her, huge difference.
mm,
Huge difference. Right. So, and don't think you just can, don't get me wrong, you have to have a paradigm shift.
mm,
Kenya is not America. It's not America like it kind of reminds me of America in the 70s,
okay.
infrastructure wise,
Mhm.
and black pride wise, because I don't know how
Oh,
old y'all,
wow.
but in the 70s we had pride.
Yeah. Yeah.
We weren't taking no shit. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But here, so there's a paradigm shift.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, I live kind of still same quality of life, but I had to lower my expectations,
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time, unexpectedly, I came here with a little bit of aggressiveness. I had to get rid of that aggressiveness
Wow.
because
Yeah.
they don't confront you. They don't give you
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to get upset.
Mm-hmm.
You go out like they're still, I got with some of my boys and they be like pissed because their bacon wasn't crispy and they asked for crispy bacon. And I be like, bro, when you said crispy bacon, they just nodded, yeah, but they don't know what the hell you was asking for. What comes out the kitchen is what you eat.
Wow.
So lower your expectations,
Yeah.
You might get your steak medium, you know, or it might be
Wow.
well
Oh, it's
done.
like that. Okay. Okay. But look,
Now
these are
that's
all inputs. It's all
right. There are
inputs.
some restaurants
Yeah.
that know, and they more higher end, but don't expect that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Don't get upset if it doesn't come out your way. This isn't
Mm-hmm.
America. They
Mm-hmm.
don't do things like that. They
Mm-hmm.
just put the order in and you get it as it comes.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't push that on people. I just observe for the most part. I'm
Yeah.
like,
I
I
think
don't
that
get
comes
upset.
with maturity too, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I don't get upset with them. I'm like, whatever you put in front of me is what I'm going to eat. And if I don't
Mm-hmm.
like it, I just won't come back here again.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line. And I cook, so you know, I go to a steakhouse in America. It better be on point, because if it ain't, I'm gonna do a redo tomorrow to get the satisfaction of what I
So
paid
said,
for.
don't get it twisted, y'all.
So,
Nice,
but
nice.
like I said, there's so many things I haven't done yet here that I have on the list to do. I
Wow.
um I have I haven't done probably if there's 100 things I want to do here, I haven't done 10 of them because I've been so busy doing the 10 that I've done, right?
Mm, mm,
Yeah. And there's so many like I wake up one day and I'll be like, I'm gonna get on my bike and I'm gonna just go ride. And I did
mhm.
that one day. I end up at a prehistoric museum, and I
Ooh.
found out that literally the oldest humans on earth were found here in between Ethiopia and Kenya.
Whoa.
Right. And they had, this place was where they made axe, they would
Okay.
make axes, the axe head.
Mm.
And it's just the whole ground. You see stones shaped like axes that are untouched as they found them. Right.
Oh.
Right. And that, and out there, I'm probably
Mm.
3 hours outside Nairobi by myself. And I didn't realize it was gonna be that hot. I ain't had no water with me. So
Oh my
I
gosh.
and there's no stores or nothing. So I stumbled on this museum. I was like, well, maybe they got some water or soda or
Huh?
something. So I go down, follow the signs, and I end up at this museum. They didn't have any water or soda.
No water at the museum either.
Right.
Wow.
But I was like, and there was one guy there and a Maasai tour guy. So I was like,
Uh-huh.
well, I'll do the tour. What the hell? Did the tour. And when I left there, I said, so if I find some of these axes outside this museum, can I have one? Can I just take it? Like, yeah. So I parked my
Wow.
bike. Yeah. So I parked my bike outside the archaeological area.
Huh?
And I was walking around and I thought, there's some really poisonous snakes out here. I
Oh,
have
oh.
no idea where a hospital is, and there's no people around. So I'm like, let me get
Wow.
my ass back on this bike. But I'm adventurous like that. So
I am learning.
yeah. But I'm telling you, if you black, you gotta come to Kenya. Just the
Oh my
experience.
God.
I don't know how
I'm
Nigerian
sold.
got my
I'm
my
sold.
Nigerian friends say don't go to Nigeria. They say go to check out Rwanda too. So I'm gonna go check
Mm.
out Rwanda. But yeah, here in Kenya, and you really have black privilege, especially being
Mm.
American.
Mm.
Once they know you're American, they almost talking to you. You know, I don't
Wow.
really like that, but you appreciate it.
Yeah.
They will remember your name. You meet them for 2 minutes, see them 6 months later. Mr. Jeff, how are you? I'm like,
Whoa. That is
where did we meet?
amazing.
Oh, you were here at the restaurant 6 months ago. I was like, and you remember? Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're genuine, you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, private schools, healthcare here is I broke my ankle. I didn't even tell my sister. I broke my ankle in January.
You about to hear it now, Terry.
I broke my ankle and my dumb ass went to play basketball. Broke my ankle. First I
Whoa.
went to a little local clinic around the corner. My
Mhm.
visit was $14. They gave me a wrap and some meds. But I was like, I don't know if I tore my Achilles or not.
Mhm.
So I made an appointment with the orthopedic.
Mhm.
Got there, did the x-rays, did the exam, told me my Achilles was good, did the x-ray. He said, you fractured your ankle. It's like fracturing your ankle
Mhm.
and you tore a ligament. But,
Whoa.
the rice, rest, ice,
Mhm.
compression and elevation, handle that with the meds, with the visit, with the consultation, total was $77.
You can't even go into the emergency room for
And this is with a
$77.
specialist. Yeah, this is with an ortho, a specialist. $77.
Wow.
So, but if
You
you
are
can
blowing
pay for,
minds here, I'm just saying. I'm looking at
yeah,
this chat and I'm like, people's minds are blown.
you can buy healthcare anywhere from I say 500 a year up to 5,000 a year if you want that security.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you know, but
Yeah,
I'm
true.
like, yeah. So
Way out of
I have a
pocket.
because I ride a motorcycle and like in
Mm.
case I break a leg or something, which is not gonna happen. But if it's a $500 bill, that insurance will cover it,
Mhm.
right? So,
Wow.
yeah. If I need something more extensive than that, I'll get back to the States. I got VA coverage back there. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Oh, I could get to the closest military base, I guess, and
Mhm.
get that. But um, it's and most of the people here don't have healthcare coverage. They just go to an emergency room and get treated, and it might
Mhm.
cost them $10 to $20 to get their treatment. And like a lot of foreign countries, prescriptions, of course, here are ridiculously low priced. Same,
Yeah.
same, same prescriptions you get in America. You don't need a prescription.
Mhm.
Antibiotics, painkillers. You just go up to
Yeah,
the
same.
counter. You're right. Then
Mhm.
you can buy one pill if you want to. you
Yeah, I
know.
picked up 2 prescriptions today as I had to go to the I wound up going to the emergency room last Friday,
Right.
and then by the time I got home, the bill was there, and it was 50, and I was like, "Oh," and then I saw the orthopedist today, and then he gave me 2 prescriptions, and I picked it up, and it was €7. I was like, "Oh."
Right, right, right. I
It's
think
so
America
wild.
America subsidizes pharmaceutical drugs throughout the world. We pay
Mhm,
10 to 20 times more than everybody else in the world pays for
mhm,
it.
mhm. It's true.
Capitalism. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could literally fly to Mexico, stay a weekend, buy 6 months worth of meds, dinner and everything, flights all included,
Mhm.
come back to America and still not spend what you would spend for 1 month's prescription.
Yeah,
And if
100%.
you don't know that, and you got family members, your mom or somebody on meds, go to Mexico, buy a year's supply, and you will spend less than you pay for 1 month of
Mhm,
prescriptions in America. And you don't
mhm.
need a prescription for most of
Yeah,
this stuff.
yeah. When I
Right.
was in Asia last month, a lot of the women were going to the wellness clinics and either, getting a whole panel done, the whole body
Right.
scan,
Right.
everything. You get all the tests done, get them back in a day for like $500.
Yeah.
You can't do that in the States. I wanna pause for a second and get to Kay's question. She asked about eligible single Black American men.
Over
Uh,
here,
I'm gonna say hint, hint.
uh, so me and my friends have, we all have relationships. Um, there's a faction of new brothers over here that they call themselves passport bros. You might have some of them on here listening. I don't care,
Oh, I've heard of
you
them.
know. But they soon find out. They think these Kenyan women, these Kenyan people are slow or something. They're not. You run
Mhm.
game on them, they give you that game right back. So
Wow.
yeah. So again, my buddies, all of us, we over here, in relationships with somebody.
Mhm.
Um, these guys, I used to be in a WhatsApp chat group with them. They just are some debauchery.
Wow.
But these Kenyan men's like start threatening them. It's like y'all gonna stop talking about our women like that.
Yep, don't bring that
And
disrespectful
don't
mess
you
over
don't get it twisted. They will come up missing if they continue. They have changed their ways. At least they stopped
there.
talking about it so much. But
Wow,
yeah,
good, good,
yeah,
good, and they can stop their
you know,
foolishness because you know
yeah,
what? You gotta respect the Black woman. You came from
right,
a
right,
Black
right.
woman, respect the Black woman.
Exactly.
Wow.
They just, they all. I'm sorry, they all just insecure men that can't handle.
Mhm.
I have never said anything bad about Black American women. I have opinions, but I'll never speak them publicly. I've never had an issue,
Mhm,
meeting women in America. No more.
mhm,
They're no different than anywhere. I mean, they are different. Don't get me wrong, but I know how to deal with them, right? So it's just a matter of your I guess confidence or whatever.
mm,
But
mhm.
they ruined Colombia. They ruined the Dominican Republic. They ruined some other Latin American countries, and they come here and try to ruin Kenya. But Kenyans speak English. Oh, that's another thing. Everybody here speaks English, so you don't have to learn.
Wow.
If you want to learn Swahili, cool. You really
Mhm.
don't have to because most of the people here speak very good English. And
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's a huge factor. You ain't gotta
Yeah.
translate. And then as far as what's it say? Hey mom, hey Rodney. Sorry, so
I told you
they
the whole
both watching.
family's
My
here.
brother, hey mom, I'll see you soon for Mother's Day. I should have not told her that. I like to surprise her, but if she's paying attention, she heard it. But oh yeah, as far as money goes, I still have my money in the American bank, and I use this app to bring money over here. They use this app called M-Pesa,
Oh, okay.
So I transferred money over here. The rates changed. When I decided to move here, it was like $1 to 160 Kenyan shillings.
Oh, okay.
And by the time I got here in April, it had gone down to 130. So it's hovering between 125 and 130, but it
Mm-hmm.
may go back up to 160 or it may go down. But so I use that app and Pesa, I move money over to that app. And if it's, I try to wait till it's higher and then I'll
Yeah.
just put a bunch of money over here
Mm-hmm.
and get the most value out of it. I did open a bank account here, just in case. You usually have to have an alien ID card or some sort of residency to open a bank account here, but a friend of a friend, Kenyan, just took me to the bank manager and say, "Hey, can you do me a favor, give this guy an account?"
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and so you can get around those things as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's I'm gonna say this, and I say it with meaning. Fuck America. I don't care if I ever. I don't care if I ever go. I I didn't know how stressed and angry I was until I moved here.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I go back, I realized I was stressed and angry every day in my life
Mm-hmm.
trying to live in this country that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't fucking like me.
Nope.
You know?
Yeah, they don't care
And
about you.
here, I just walk around. I really feel
Mm-hmm.
like a god, quite honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Not above anybody, but on equal
Mm-hmm.
level with all the other gods
Yeah.
that live here.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just so I mean, you know, like I say, now you ain't gonna get paved roads and sidewalks and all that. I don't need it.
You need peace. That's it.
I mean, I got the peace. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
I just accept what they accept and I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It is it's beautiful here. It is just
Mm-hmm.
beautifully, wonderfully black. You know? This
Yes.
is this is what how we all should be living. And we should
Mm-hmm.
be this comfortable in our own skin. And Kenya is the only place I've been in the world that I felt this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, peace as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, Greta said we
Yeah.
coming.
But yeah, anybody, yeah, thank you, Adrian. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I'm happy here. But yeah, anybody
Mhm.
want to come over, I'll be glad to give you some info and tell you what to do. And you're not getting my time, but I mean, I might
Mm.
hang out. I'll hang out with some of you, but for the most part, I'll tell you anything you want to know. But
Mhm. I'm
yeah,
coming, I'm coming. I'm already Imma say it here publicly,
yeah,
so
yeah,
y'all
yeah,
know
yeah.
I have
Just
on my
come,
list to get
come
to the
experience
concert
this,
this year. I'm coming, I'm coming.
right? And you might not feel the same way that I do about it. So, but
Mhm.
again, it's a paradigm shift, and
Yeah.
I've always adjusted to the country that I land in. Um, and so my expectations disappear. I'm like, okay, I'll go with the flow.
Mm.
I'm gonna go with the flow type guy. So
Mhm.
you really, anywhere you go, don't expect, what you get in America. Expect whatever is provided, whatever
Mhm.
they're giving you, and you'll be all right. Lower your expectations, and you won't be disappointed. You know. But
Mhm.
again, I'm not gonna show y'all around my apartment.
Well, I did drop here, and I'm gonna, drop it again, your YouTube channel.
Yeah, yeah. I'm blogging a little bit on YouTube. I might not put content out there all the time, but I will start doing my little adventures and uploading them in places that I go and places that I eat, and show you guys. And I'll put things out there. So yeah, just follow it. And I'm gonna, the more followers I got, the more likely I'm gonna go ahead and put some content out there. So
Yeah, you just got a bunch of subscribers.
and I really wanted to say this, nothing wrong with where you select to live.
Mhm.
But no, I think we all know anywhere you go in the world, it is just if you're not black, then black people are the most hated people in whatever country you're in, right?
Mhm.
I think it's safe to say that you gotta accept a certain amount of racism, right?
Mhm.
And that's in the Caribbean, Mexico, Europe, anywhere you go. Here, I ain't got to deal with it.
Mm.
I don't see racism. Even if I see a white person talking down to a black person here, I'm gonna intervene.
Mhm. Mhm. As you
I'm
should.
I'm stepping in. Like, what did you say
Yeah.
to so and so? And when
Wow.
they hear that American, they be like, "Oh, no, no, yeah, I'm stepping
Mhm.
in. You
It's
ain't
like,
gonna, you ain't gonna do that
mm.
in front of me. Not here, not
Wow.
here. Yeah." And
Yeah.
then, and I ain't got to worry about no police coming up. If it's a black man, a white man, and they have an altercation,
Mhm.
then I'm already the threat. They're gonna come and
Mhm.
handcuff me first before they ask questions. Not here.
Mhm.
Not here.
And
You know.
what a relief that is. Like, it's only when you get out of the matrix, out of the system, that you see like all of the things that were filling your head that was distracting you. Because you have to put on, in order to exist in America, you have to put on the mask. You
You
have to put
have
on the mask before you leave the house. You have to, confine yourself to. I think America does a good job at keeping you small and shrinking you to
right,
fit
right,
what's
right.
acceptable there, and even that is still not acceptable, right,
And you
within
and you
our skin.
and you don't see it until you leave.
Yeah.
When you leave, you like, wow, I am so mad that I didn't find Kenya 20 years ago. You know, because if I'd
Wow.
have came here 20 years ago, I would have moved here 20 years ago.
Hmm.
Really would have. I'd have figured it out.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm
and
mad
that
that I,
part, you just have to,
I
sometimes you just have to leap. You went, you didn't know you were gonna move there. You were just
nope,
checking it out, and you have to
checking it
step
out.
out on faith.
Right, right. I had no doubts. I'm like, I'm moving, and that's it. I have been, like I said, a lot of places in this world.
Mhm.
Never have I been so comfortably black.
Mm. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Greta wanted to know, the visa process?
So, I'm on a 5-year multi-entry visa. It cost me about $60. It took me 2 days to get it. So every 90 days, I either have to leave Kenya or extend it for another 60 days, I think, and
Mm.
then leave, which works out for me because I'm going to travel every 90 days anyway. So
Yeah.
residency here, I think it's a little overpriced, but I think political climate is going to change. Like if I were to get a retirement visa here, it's 2,000 a year, but there's a lot of bribery that goes on in Kenya. You got to stroke somebody's hand to get
Mhm.
things moving. I've been quoted anywhere from 1,200 to 15,000 to do the exact same thing. Yeah, you're
Woo.
right. Right.
Shillings or
No, US
dollars?
US dollars. Just
Damn.
to just to
Okay.
move it, just to move it for you. And I take all that because somebody tell me something, I'm checking 4 times to
Mhm.
see who's saying what. And when two say the same thing, then that's what I go with. So I kind of started that process, but a guy quoted me one price, and then every 2 weeks he got some new requirement. I'm like, brother, that's not on the website.
Mhm.
The requirements, I can pull them up right here. So this
Wow.
requirement you ask, I say, you know what, I'm gonna do this. But if you ask me for something else, I'm gonna tell you, take that money you already got, and I'm done with this. I'm not
Mm.
pressed. Then he came back with something else, and I was like, you know what, I ain't gotta deal with you, bro. So that's the nature of things. If you want
Mhm.
things to move here like that, you gotta pay somebody to move it. That's the
Okay.
one thing I don't like about it, but that's not my problem. That's a Kenyan problem. They all
Mhm.
are used to that, so they just go with it.
Mhm.
I'm hoping the next political president or whatever
Mhm.
changes that narrative about Kenya in general. because it's too
Mm.
widely accepted and kind of it gets on your nerves sometimes, you know. But
Wow.
I get around it. I ain't nobody bribing me anymore. I got
Mm.
I got bribed twice for some change, but now I just stand my ground. Now I'm not giving you anything.
Mm-hmm.
We go with that. So, but again, if I wanted to open a restaurant here or something, and I wanted somebody to move the documentation for me, I
Mm-hmm.
would do that. I would
Mm-hmm.
just go ahead and pay somebody to push it through.
Oh, okay.
But but I'm retired. I'm not interested in doing anything that's going to take my time.
Yes.
Especially,
I know, right? As
right,
retirees, we're like,
right. I might get into a little craft, some hobby that I do whenever I feel like it, you know. But that's as far as I'm going. I'm not getting back into the business mindset
No.
anymore.
Mm-mm. No. Work is a four-letter word.
Right.
Your
What's up,
cousin
Cuz?
said, hey.
Hey, what's up, Don?
Yeah.
I'll be there. I'll be there in May. So let's make sure, family, we all get together.
Yeah. And Adrian said, sorry I didn't get a chance to experience this, Jeff.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Adrian, you come on over here. Bring your whole clan. Yeah.
You gotta stop by Portugal too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably gonna come to. So that soul weekend, I think it's this in May. I ain't gonna make it
Mm.
this year, but I probably definitely come to the next one. You should go down to Algarve. I'm telling you, that's a fire event. It's British.
Oh my God.
Somehow the British have held on to soul music, and they got it right. You know, like these cats,
Wow.
they
Yeah.
never let it go, right?
Well, we also have
But
Afro Nation in June, and
June,
Burna Boy is here this year, Thames, and I
Burna
think
Boy
Mary
just
J.
left here.
Blige is on the lineup for this year.
Burna
Um,
Boy just left here. Dave
mhm.
Chappelle was here last year.
Oh, wow.
Uh, what's his name? Ghost. He was just here 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's some private club thing in DC. He was over
Uh,
here representing
oh,
that, and
nice.
they just opened that same a branch of it here.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, look, you know, you do, well, you gotta come through. Hit me up.
Right, right,
Terry will give you my stuff.
right,
Oh,
right.
wow. Let me see. There was another question. I thought it was another question that I saw. Um,
All right, I hear you, Pat, Cuddy.
oh, here it is.
You gonna be on the
Nichelle,
flight?
have you noticed a difference in comfort or acceptance for single Black women in Nairobi?
Well, I tell you, if you're a single black woman, and you're coming to Nairobi, you need to be on your game because these women here are on top. They probably the most fashionable people in Africa,
Wow.
and then they have this sweetness about them that that you have to match.
Wow.
So I think you definitely it's a woman from Chicago.
Mm.
She's here in my building. She came across a Facebook post I posted and ended up meeting her down in the lobby. But she's here by herself. She seems to be safe and enjoying it. So there's actually some girl from Detroit saw me with a Baltimore Ravens shirt on. She's like, "You from America?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "I'm from Detroit." Blah 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 blah. And she said, "Yeah." She said, "I'm loving it here." So you know,
Wow. Oh my
yeah.
gosh. You sold me on it. I'll get on the plane in a minute.
Right,
So,
right, right. But
wow. Oh my
but
gosh.
again, paradigm shift. Don't.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
American women can have that attitude, and
Mm.
people
Mhm.
here are nice.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
and that's the
these
thing.
men,
We are as human beings, if you pull back all the layers, human beings are genuinely, can
Right,
be kind.
right,
We do unkind things
right,
at
right.
times. But it's great to know that, especially in this world with everything that's going on, particularly for the Americans that are watching with all the foolishness, um, that there are still great places where people are kind, that's their default.
You know, I attribute that to DNA. You know, Black people in
Mm,
general around the world are
yes.
empathetic for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
We, it's like if you're the, and when you're the parent DNA, it's like you a parent and you have a child.
Mm-hmm.
Our offspring don't have that DNA that we have. They are somewhat degenerate, you know, white, Asian, they all come from Black people. However, us
Mm-hmm.
being the parent DNA, we see them as, you know, unconsciously as our children, and we're empathetic to their deviation and their
Mm,
evilness, you know, and their wickedness. But we always ready to forgive, where
mm-hmm.
we can forgive them and they turn around and hang us, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying,
Mm-hmm.
here, you know, oldest humans being found in this region, I think
Mm-hmm.
that's where these people get their empathy from and their
Yeah.
softness and their niceness, you know. That's just
Mm-hmm.
how I see it.
Yeah. And we deserve ease. We deserve to be unapologetic, unbothered. That is our birthright. That is our birthright. Neatrix said, "This combo is giving me a boost in my resolve to get out of location independent work." You're welcome. Yes. And listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
Another episode is dropping on Monday. So, more episodes of the Blaxit Global Podcast.
I'll say this one last thing.
Mm.
If you if you can afford $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year, over here you can live like you, no matter how you live in America, you can live here very well, very
Wow.
comfortable. And you know, and if you spend 2 grand a month, you splurged.
Oh my gosh.
So if you waiting until you turn 62 or waiting until some
Mhm.
American dream where you gotta have $10,000 a month to make that move, you
Mm-mm.
don't. You
Mm-mm.
don't. You don't have to wait.
No.
If you can afford 2 grand a month, you live a life of luxury here.
Mhm.
So,
Amen. Oh my gosh.
so
Wow.
you know, I got a buddy, he's 54. I keep trying to tell him. He's like, yeah, man, but I was like, dude, you got equity in your house. You actually don't have a house payment. You sell your house, you can live here for 10 years off of that alone.
Mm. Well, you said it at the beginning of our conversation. It was like you went home and you did the math,
Yeah. And the
right?
math just
Like
math.
that is what changed it for you. That's what changed it for me. Like I looked
Right.
at my numbers and what it cost for me to
Yeah.
live in the States and what it cost for me to
Yeah.
live in Portugal. And I was like, oh, I'm retired at 49. That's a wrap.
Cost of living here is literally one fourth what it costs in America.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. To live the same quality of life. Now, if you want to
Yeah.
live lesser, you can do that. You can go get a
Mhm.
decent apartment here for $200-300 a month. You might
Mhm.
not have an elevator. Only difference, but you're gonna have a balcony, two
Mhm.
bedrooms, you know, and you don't in Nairobi, you don't need heat or air conditioning. So you
Oh,
don't
okay.
have that. You don't have that bill,
Wow.
right? And my phone is $7 a month. And that's for 1,000 minutes. I don't even use it all. I just pay
Seven.
$7 a month is what my cell phone bill is.
Okay, you got me beat because
Oh, I
my
can pay
internet
less.
cable and all that stuff comes to 58 here, and
Right.
but
I could pay
seven.
less. Yeah, I could pay less. I just don't calculate. I just figured, well, for $7 a month, I might as well get the 1,000. Right?
You got
But
to
I
put
never
all the
use.
apps on. You're like cellular data, all the
I
apps
never
on.
use it. I could go with 350 a month, and probably never
Wow.
run out of time, minutes, or data. Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Cell phone bills are cheaper all over the world, except
Yeah,
for
that
America.
is true. That is true.
Wow.
Uh,
So, I think we've wrapped
just,
it.
just for the phone alone.
Yeah, I think we've wrapped it because it is 11 p.m. for me. You are 3
1:30
hours
for me.
ahead. So it is tomorrow already for you.
So
So
I'm
I
about
will.
to watch the University of Maryland in the Sweet 16.
Well, yes, I want to get you to your game. I know you have dropped a lot of great information. The audience, thank you all for the questions in the chat. Hopefully, we've gotten to most, if not all.
thank, thank the
Be sure
audience
to
for
subscribe to Jeff's YouTube channel. Support him. Be sure to listen
it.
to the Blaxit Global podcast. Support me. Support this channel. If you are looking for other support, come into Blaxit Global Passport, our private community. Our next accountability group is April 5th. So come on in and get in community and get yourself from where you are now to where you want to be. With that, I want to thank you again, Jeff. This was awesome. Thank you
Thank
to
you.
all
This
your
is,
family that's watching.
yeah. Thanks, fam. I see you guys soon. Next month. Or what is it April yet? No. I'll see you guys
We
in
time, we
May.
don't know what day it is anymore.
I don't. I don't. I'll see you guys in May. Right.
Awesome.
But yeah,
Awesome.
it was great getting all that out. And I swear, if I had one of my boys here and you sat and talked with him, he would repeat everything I said.
Wow. Oh my
Ver-
gosh. That is
Damn near
amazing.
verbatim from his own heart. Yeah, we love it here. We
Yeah.
absolutely love it here.
Oh my gosh. So you guys heard it. And so, like I said, you know where to find Jeff. And if you need more inspiration, there's 75 episodes of the Black to Global podcast. 5 years. I've been at this
Oh,
5 years.
wow.
So
Congratulations. Congratulations.
thank you. Thank you. Well,
All
thank you
right.
again,
Well,
Jeff.
all
And
right.
we will see you. I will see you next Thursday, same bat time, same bat channel. Ta
All
ta.
right.